Hello, everyone. I'm Becca, dietitian by trade, mom 24/7, wife from the start, and when there's a few extra hours in the day, you might find me hitting the trails or on horseback.
And I'm Kara, a therapist to women, a mom to a boy, an entrepreneur, mountain junkie, and a postpartum runner.
And this is Fit for a Queen, a podcast that's devoted to the female athlete wanting to balance the teeter-totter of all the things we desire out of life as women. Performance, health, intellect, and taking time for self, even if we only get 1 minute out of the day.
We're so excited to be bringing you the queens in the athletic world who have done just that. Okay, ladies, take a seat at your thrones, grab your crowns, and welcome to Fit for a Queen. Welcome back to Fit for a Queen. We have Karen Newman on today. We're very excited to have her on and share her story with us. Let me tell you a little bit about Karen. Karen is an inspirational speaker, world record-breaking triathlete, mother, wife, dietitian, and author. She's also an eating disorder and stage 4 metastatic cancer survivor. Her real-life stories have been giving people hope, helping free them from the bondage of shame, secrets, and addictions, inspiring them to be authentic, to dream big, and risk living the life they were meant to live. Karen has been featured in numerous publications and shows, including the NBC Today Show and the New York Post, and has lectured all over the country. She has also received many awards, such as USA Triathlon's Most Inspirational Comeback Award, as well as the Connecticut Sportswriters Association's Courage Award, and American Cancer Society's Determination Champion for her tireless charitable efforts. Karen's book, entitled Just 3 Words, is a gripping, intimate, and contagiously inspiring story about the challenging experiences that brought her to her knees and then to her life's purpose, and the miracles that kept her alive and winning athletic events around the world. Karen is an 8-time All-American triathlete and has medaled in events all over the world, even breaking an age group world triathlon record, despite enduring cancer treatments. On September 14, 2016, just 4 months after being immobilized by a tumor in her spine, she raced for the USA in Cozumel, Mexico, and had the honor of carrying the USA flag in the Parade of Nations. As a triathlon coach, registered dietitian with a master's degree in clinical nutrition, health and wellness educator, and president-elect of the Vermont Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, Karen has had a long career educating and encouraging people in health and nutrition, as well as on the track. A University of Vermont alumna, she married her college sweetheart, Peter, and together they have 3 amazing boys, Stetson, Chase, and Trent, who inspired her to survive and thrive. Karen, welcome.
Thank you so much. That's such a beautiful introduction.
Well, it is. Well, in the beginning of your book and your story, you state that you didn't want to tell your story, but you had to tell your story. What did you mean by that? I was thinking.
One big takeaway that I've learned is that secrets love the darkness, and they flourish there and they ruin your life. But it doesn't have to be that way. If we can courageously seek help or share our story with someone we trust, we can all break free and live a life of abundance. And there is no addiction, no shame, no mistake. There's nothing too great for God's redeeming grace.
I was thinking about that reading your story. I mean, we talk about being vulnerable with our clients so much of the time, and talk about a vulnerable story and putting yourself out there. So it's such an amazing story that you had, but a big leap of putting yourself out there too.
Yeah, thank you. The hardest part was actually sitting down with my mom and dad and telling them some of the things that I had done that I was really ashamed about, and telling my husband and everybody. So, but they accepted me with love and grace, and so that was really amazing. I didn't think that would happen, but that's what I know, that anything's possible.
It's amazing. How did you get through the chemo and keep perspective? So tell us about surviving the emotional journey when, as an elite athlete, physically, you're used to your body listening and succeeding, and it doesn't happen through the cancer journey. So tell us a little bit about keeping your perspective.
Well, I'll tell you what, chemo has a way of humbling you, for sure.
I bet.
And, you know, there were days when I was curled up right next to the toilet, and I literally couldn't get out of bed or couldn't get off the floor. And so I just learned to be grateful to be even able to push up and walk to the front door and take a breath of air. And instead of beating myself up, I would just use really positive, encouraging words like, you can get up, you can do this, take one step, it's all right, you're going to make it, and all these things. And I just learned to let go of my own plans and let God lead the way. And chemo really did teach me to give the grace that I'm so able to give others, to give it to myself. And it really was a process because I was bullied as a child, and I listened to all those negative words, and they reshaped who I thought I was. So many nights I would go to bed saying, you're fat, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're worthless, you might as well be dead. I mean, those words almost killed me. And negative beliefs are so terrible. And so I just want everyone to know out there that you don't have to listen to these lies that people have told you, or lies that you're creating in your own mind. Just have the courage to shake off those negative words and find encouraging, positive words, because they literally can help you get through the toughest days and the toughest trials that lie ahead. So Absolutely. Words are powerful.
And one thing that was powerful in your book is we talk about using your tribe around you for support and asking for help, and being that driven woman that you were, you found that part where you really had to call upon your friends to help drive you to chemo or drag you there when you really didn't, and they became such a powerful part of your story, and also sharing that with other women as well.
Yes, and so many of us out there think that we have to do it all, be it all these things. And what I've learned through this journey is that when you allow other people to help you, you bless them too. So let them be part of your journey. You wind up having a deeper connection with everybody. And so say yes when you need help. For so many years, I can't tell you, I would just say, no, I don't need any help, when I really and truly needed help. So say yes to other people and let them be blessed and come along on your journey. It works both ways.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. How did cancer save you? How are you thankful for going through this process, and what did you learn about yourself through all of this?
Well, I'll be honest, at the time of my cancer diagnosis, I was in the thralls of an eating disorder. And here I am, I'm a dietitian, I'm helping so many people, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a world-class triathlete, and basically I'm lying to everyone. There were days that I would actually stand in front of an audience and talk about good nutrition, and I would have the taste of bile on my tongue, and that still chokes me up to think that that's the life that I was living. And bulimia had just taken over my life. I suffered with it on and off for 30 years. And then I'd reached a point where it was just killing me. And I had made myself sick 8 times that day. And then I got on my knees and I said, Lord, just take me home. I'm just done with life. And then a few days later, I was diagnosed with cancer, and at that very moment, I knew that God was allowing me the journey of cancer because He could see the other side. He could see how I would be transformed, and I really needed a wake-up call. And as crazy as this sounds, cancer was the lifeline I needed to turn my life around. And I can't tell you how many lessons I've learned through this journey. There's so many lessons about love and life and victory. And one thing that I know for sure is that some of our greatest trials in life are actually our most incredible opportunities to grow and transform, and they're often springboards to a higher level of destiny.
Love that.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, you don't know it when you're going through it. I know that's hard. But like looking back of, wow, this came up and actually saved your life and where you're at now. That's amazing.
So Karen, you're such a great woman of faith. I want to hear a little bit more about how you used your faith to overcome adversity, and some of those messages that you felt like God sent along the way. I know the 111 was a big theme that was personally designed for you that really seemed to help get you through 3 years of utter hell, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one thing I think it's important for everyone to know is that when I was diagnosed with cancer, I really didn't have a very deep, strong relationship with God. I was raised believing that God was up in heaven, that he had a checklist, and I was not measuring up. And that is just a false belief. God is so loving, and he loves each one of us unconditionally. That is one thing I truly learned. And as I grew in my faith, I learned to lean on God. And I know that he knows each one of us intimately, and there's something that he can send to encourage you. We can all be God's hands and feet and voice, but he's also trying to get our attention. And, like, for example, there's this one story after I was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic cancer. I'd been through chemo and all kinds of things and radiation surgeries and everything. And this time I just really felt like God saying to me, just wait, I'm going to do something amazing. Don't do the chemo. And I was really afraid because, you know, that's scary to do nothing, right? Mm-hmm. But I just said, Lord, if I'm not supposed to do the chemo, will you just show me a hummingbird? And I'm sitting at my desk here with this big window, and out of nowhere, I've never seen a hummingbird in my whole life. And then this hummingbird just comes and is fluttering right in front of my eyes, and I just started crying. I was like, okay, and I went to my oncologist and said, well, I'm not doing chemo, I saw a hummingbird. And it was so nice. But
it's like, really, she's hallucinating.
Out there, and, you know, if it's numbers, he gives me numbers. 111 was my number and my encouragement. But it might be a song for you. It might be my friend loves skunks, and she sees skunks. And, you know, so it's just he knows what you love. And so as I face this diagnosis every day, I'm just drawn to the Lord, and I just know that he's doing something magnificent. And, you know, just thinking about being immobilized last year, unable to walk, that doctors saying there's impossible for me to go to the World Championships in 4 months. But I just learned that absolutely nothing's impossible. Prayer works. God is good. And just keep your eyes open for the magnificent ways he's blessing you in your life and your trial. Well, I just wouldn't be here without God.
Right. And I like at the start of every chapter, you had a scripture that kind of set the theme and a quote from somebody that's been powerful or inspiring for you. So obviously,
you know, what's really fun about that, those quotes too. When I first wrote the manuscript, we had all these famous people write quotes, and I handed it in, and they asked me if I had gotten permission. And I didn't know you were supposed to get permission to write quotes from famous people. So it wound up being real people with real stories, and so that's been a real huge blessing too.
No, I love that aspect of the book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So obviously the name of our podcast is Fit for a Queen, and we love wrapping up each episode asking our guests on how they live that out daily. How do you still try to maximize your brilliant performance, maintain health that we take for granted, continue to have intellect, and then taking that valuable time for self?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for what you're doing. You guys are amazing and really inspiring the world, so God bless you for that. And I guess my Fit philosophy is I begin every single day with a prayer of thankfulness. I feel that when we're thankful, it just pushes out all negativity, and it helps us to really step out and live an abundant, grace-filled life. And each and every day, I try to make the world a better place by speaking life and taking time to listen and being vulnerable and sharing my gifts and going out of my comfort zone. So I encourage people to go out of their comfort zone. And I also just know that trials will come our way. And I want to encourage everybody and myself that when a trial comes, just get ready for something really amazing to happen, because there's always a blessing through your trial, no matter what. There's always going to be a gift. I do make it a priority to carve at least 10 minutes out of my day to rest, and I love to just lay in the sun for a few minutes in Savasana and just let it all just come to me, and I pray and just get restored. It's so important. And lastly, I tell everyone to just keep chasing your dreams. You have a dream, no matter what you face, just keep chasing it, because I do believe that dreams are put in our hearts not to defeat us, but to push us and change us and help us to become everything we were meant to be. That's my Phit philosophy.
Pretty great one.
Yeah. Karen, thank you so much for joining us today, for sharing your story with us, for sharing your story through your book. Again, you've had such a journey and such an inspiration for a lot of people struggling out there with different things. So thank you so much for joining us. If you want more info about Karen's story and how to get her book, please go to thekarennewman.com. Thanks so much, Karen, for joining us.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, Karen.
Thank you to our sponsor today, Centimano Counseling. Centimano Counseling is the premier perinatal mental health practice in Kansas City, treating mood disorders during pregnancy and postpartum, perinatal loss, infertility, eating, and exercise disorders. Go to centimano.com for further information about the practice and services. For additional information on today's topic and guests, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fit for a Queen. And
Hashtag Fit for a Queen.
don't forget to rate us on iTunes. We can't wait for you to join us next time on Fit for a Queen.
Bye, Queens.